the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's right. If you've been living under a rock, last week it was delayed by Ubisoft. People were blaming, well, not people, but actually the CEO said due to the poor sales of Star Wars Outlaws, because it only pushed 1 million units. Matter of fact, we could push this one up right here. Star Wars Outlaws only sold 1 million copies in its first month since its launch, which, you know, for like an indie title, that's good. But Ubisoft is a mega super conglomerate, not want to say conglomerate, but one of the biggest publishers slash developers out there. And 1 million copies is not good enough, especially when you're on every platform, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. You would have thought it would have did better. Insider Gaming hasn't been able to learn what it was expected sales figures for Star Wars, but we were able to secure a current sales figure from sources close to the game. And at the time of the writing, Star Wars Outlaws has just ticked over 1 million sales worldwide. It tripped over 1 million. It didn't, like, it wasn't a definitive. It tripped over 1 million. 1 million is failed. Crazy. Yes, it is. For a game this big, yeah. Like I said, 1 million for an indie title is big because the budget is smaller as well as the team. You got to keep in mind, this is a company that has studios. They have multiple studios in the United States, multiple studios in Canada. They have studios in Singapore, France, probably some other countries I'm not thinking about the top of my head. They have studios all across the world. They employ thousands of people between developers, PR people, artists. There's so many different jobs. They have a lot of mouths to feed. So yes, 1 million copies for them is not good because their overhead is really high between the staffing and as well as the production costs of the game. AAA development is ballooning, which is in part due to, in my opinion, the developers. I don't know who told these developers everything needs to be this open world action adventure game with hundreds of hours of content. Well, we all know it's not really 100 hours of content. It's really more like 10 to 20 hours of content. And that other like fucking 70 to 90 hours of content is just shit sprinkled all over the fucking map. Collect some flags, collect some orbs, talk to this guy, go hunt 10 wolves. So yeah, it's not good. 1 million is not good because their overhead is too high. You gotta learn business lingo. There's a difference between how much sales a game generated and how much profit something is generated. And the most important thing is profit. 1 million in sales, they ain't generating no profit. Profit is what you take home after you meet your overhead, basically. So yeah. This game wasn't doing good, and now we have context behind Assassin's Creed Shadows delay. Yeah, collect some question marks. Let's talk about it. Last week, Ubisoft announced Assassin's Creed Shadows would be delayed from its intended November release date to February 2025. I believe the 14th it's releasing, Valentine's Day. That's gonna make them even madder, bro. Releasing this game on Black History Month. I swear, man, I really hope this game is good. I don't need this L to drop on This is not the type of Black History we want to see. While the announcement was somewhat of a shock publicly, internally, it was expected and desperately needed. Ubisoft announced that the game was delayed to polish and refine the experience. They also said in the press release the game is already done, so yeah, it's just about polishing it. In its earnings update, the company further claimed that the delay was due to learning from the Star Wars Outlaw release. Both claims are true, but beyond a few short words, internally, the developers have been pushing for a delay for the best part of a few months, which has fallen on deaf ears until the release of Outlaws. Now, what's something we talk about on this stream all the time? Stop harassing these developers on social media. Not to say that some of them don't do stupid shit, because that one, that former artist on Concord, that call people like talentless hacks, shut the fuck up. Like, you need to be quiet. But the ones that be minding their business, just interacting with the community that's cool, stop fucking yelling at them. They can only do so much. It is a symbiotic relationship where when done correctly, it can be healthy. You can get an agent venom. But a lot of times, what happens is, with these symbiotic relationships, is you get the more traditionally canon venom. where these fucking suits be overstepping their boundaries, and because they're paying the bills, these developers are now developing with their arms tied behind their back. They're not really able to make the art that they want to make. So now we're getting word that the developers were trying to polish this game more, but the CEOs We're like, fuck that. Let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. Homie was the talentless hack with the basic ass models they used for Concord. Yeah, the models were ugly. Ease Gamont pointed out that in an internal memo that Star Wars Outlaws initial sales proved softer than expected, while Gamont pointing out that critics rated the game a 76 out of 10, 76 out of 100 on Metacritic. Although I wasn't given the figure on what Ubisoft anticipated Outlaws to sell within its first month, the game has just surpassed 1 million units sold at the time of the writing. If I had to bet, they probably wanted to sell at least 5 million. I appreciate it. Underrated. Yo, shout out to Samurai with the sub. Appreciate it. Then they usually cause carnage. Then they usually cause carnage. This kind of goes back to the conversation I've been having on the stream, where like gaming is starting to reflect almost like real life economics. Where at least here in the United States, I can't speak for the rest of the world. I'm just speaking on, you know, where I'm from. Like they've been saying the middle class is shrinking since I was a kid. And I'd argue the middle class damn near doesn't exist anymore. I'd argue you got poor people, like upper middle class, and then like rich people. But like the real like middle class, it doesn't really exist much anymore. And when I say upper middle class, I'm talking about like those 6-figure people, those types. But like that real general middle class, it doesn't exist anymore. And I feel like that's starting to happen with gaming. And what I mean is there's just not a lot of space for a 7 out of 10. It doesn't, like, I don't think Star Wars Outlaws is a bad game as someone who's been playing it. But people are strapped for cash nowadays. People don't have unlimited funds. I had a great time playing Star Wars Outlaws, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad game. The problem is, like I said, there's not a lot of space for a 7 out of 10 for a lot of people. If somebody's working on a tight budget, why spend, you know, $70 for a 7 out of 10 when you can get a 9 or an 8, basically? And then you have some people who just prefer to spend their 70 on 2K and thousands of dollars on VC and then pretend like they can't afford a PS5 when you're playing the PS4 version of 2K every year and spending $500 on VC, but you don't realize you're spending it because you don't check your purchase history. Anyways, we're not here to talk about unemployed people. We're talking about the hardworking people of the United States. I'm very picky about games nowadays. I have no problem playing for good quality. Yeah, people are getting picky. I think what's happened is too many people have been burnt over one too many times by games that have been undercooked, like an Anthem, or games that just milk you dry. That's another thing, right? That's why I say live service games are the devil. You know, a lot of people will spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on an Apex Legends skin every season, and they don't realize how much money they're spending every year on that game, and then you don't have any money to spend elsewhere. For the people who own those live service games that are successful, it's good for them, but it kind of shrinks the spending pool for everybody else, basically. And a lot of games end up getting left on the shelf. Shout out to J Mills. And then, you know, some people just don't want to spend money. It's as you as a salesman, it's your job to sell something to me. If people are not interested and excited, they're not going to buy your game. And I don't feel like anybody was excited. I've been said Star Wars Outlaws was dead on arrival. It never looked like a bad game. And as someone who's playing it, it's not a bad game. But they didn't do anything to get anybody exciting. The marketing wasn't interesting. The gameplay isn't mind-blowing. It's just kind of, you know, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let's keep reading though. Its performance has seemingly caused alarm bells to ring at HQ, which not only led to the approval of Assassin's Creed Shadows being delayed to Q1 2025, but to finally putting games back on Steam, a request that every Ubisoft team has been pushing for years. I don't know, for the better of like 10 years, Ubisoft has been trying their darnest to get us to love Uplay, and I'm here to let you know on behalf of all gamers, fuck Uplay. If you're on console and you've never used Uplay, it's their launcher, it's their version of Steam. If you want to play Ubisoft games, you have to download that shit. It fucking sucks. It takes like half an hour to launch, and I'm not even joking. If you were here for the XDefiant streams, I swear to God, it took like a half an hour to launch that game. Half the time it doesn't launch, you got to verify the files. Their prices are not competitive. That's another reason they want to keep their games on Uplay and they want to control everything. Because if everything is on Uplay, you don't have to pay Steam that little fee that they need for being on their platform. But also, you don't have to be competitive. You can control the prices. It did take hella long, bro. shit is buggy, be crashing all the time, glitchy. It's just an awful launch. It's unoptimized. It eats your resources. Uplay is horrible. I'm gonna be honest. I think they should just get rid of it and just stick to uploading their games to Steam. Problem solved. Maybe they can do, maybe because they're a bigger publisher, they can work out some deal behind closed doors where they don't got to pay 30% to Steam for every sale, maybe 15 or something like that. Because you know for a fact your game is going to generate sales on the platform. You might have some bargaining chips there, but I don't know if they ever done anything like that. Wait, I can't get AC Shadows on Steam. You would have to get it on Uplay, but nah, I think they're going to be moving stuff to Steam. So why was Shadows delayed? It's a complicated question without a single answer, but it boils down to strict development timeline, polishing and addressing the Japanese community's cultural and historical accuracy concerns. But first, Japanese community, you mean white Western men? Let me stop. But let me address some of the wild rumors about Yasuke. He is not going to be removed. DEI Samurai is here to stay. I don't even know why that's an argument. That's fucking stupid. If they were to remove Yasuke, they would have to completely rewrite the whole story. I don't even know that's an argument. They would have to rework all the gameplay mechanics. Like, just stop. DEI is here to stay. So now historical accuracy is important. Right. Outlaws releases on Steam November 21st. It should be their day one. However, sources have said that the team has been actively addressing many historical and cultural concerns, which started before the game's reveal following external playtests and were accelerated further following the game's initial reveal and mass feedback. This includes changing some of Yasuke's story and how he's portrayed in the game, fixing architectural details, ensuring the game is historically grounded while fitting into the Assassin's Creed universe. I know one thing that was legit about the historical accuracy of the thing was something about some flags that were displaying in the trailers or whatever. The Yasuke thing, I don't really care. People aren't gonna, a certain side of the internet's not gonna believe me because I'm black. They're just gonna be like, oh, no. I don't care because it's a fucking video game, and also there wasn't a lot of like things written down during that time, so I think that's why they use Yasuke. It leans further into the power fantasy. There's not a lot of written details about him, so you can kind of play with his story, but whatever. Fundamentally though, these are issues that should have been caught internally before the game's reveal, especially given Ubisoft's strict asset approval process. As for how these issues fell through the cracks, I'm told that historical experts were brought onto the project much later than usual for a project of this magnitude, and that miscommunication between teams and cutting corners when it comes to the approval process of assets to meet deadlines were also at play. So basically they just started building the plane and flying it before the plane was even done being built, basically. So there are certain things in terms of historical accuracies that may have slipped through the cracks. I hope this doesn't mean the game is fucking ass. These things are fixable. Like the flag thing that I mentioned earlier, these things are easily fixable. It's asset flips and changes, basically. I just hope the gameplay is good, because at the end of the day, I'm playing games for games. But hey, maybe some of those, historical accuracy warriors will be happy about this news. As for the game's polish and issue with bugs, it's pretty self-explanatory. The game is currently not at the stage it needs to be for release, and I'm told that there's been some tweaks to some gameplay mechanics and elements they're going to take time to incorporate. While some of these issues were highlighted in recent playtests and mock reviews, these are in the development issues that will take a little longer. I'm glad Star Wars gave Ubisoft a wake-up call. They should have been had it. That Avatar game fucking sucked too. That was like another 7 out of 10. Far Cry Blue people. What up, Junes? I don't know how I feel about this part. This is why I said this is what I'm worried about. The biggest issue with Ubisoft games is this DUI shit is a fucking distraction, man. The biggest issue with Ubisoft games is two things: the lack of polish and originality, and then the pricing. I keep bringing this shit up. Niggas want to scream DEI Samurai. Let's talk about these $130 edition of games. People want to charge, these companies try to charge $130 for something. We don't even know what we're getting. Let the game come out. Yeah, Skull and Bones. That's the real issue. It's the fucking gameplay is the issue. Of course, these are not new issues for the team. Like Ubisoft, it sucks too. Like this is why I'm hoping this game is good. Because like, I'm telling you right now, if this game sucks, they're going to blame black people and women for Ubisoft's downfall. And we've known Ubisoft has been on a slide, in my opinion, probably since like Far Cry 4. Because Far Cry 4, people, I know a lot of y'all like it, but Far Cry 4 was just Far Cry 3.5. They've been making the same fucking game, and then it really came to a helm with Watch Dogs, with the whole graphics fiasco and them downgrading the gameplay. And ever since like Watch Dogs, they've been making the same game over and over and over and over. And for the longest, it was okay. But the moment a black man gets on the screen, you see, Ubisoft is dead. I don't want to hear this shit, bro. We need this community to die. So Ubisoft, take your time. Please get it together. I'm actually rooting for, don't get me wrong. If this shit sucks, I'm gonna slander you. But I am rooting for you to get it together. Because I just don't want to hear about how women and black people ruined Ubisoft. I think since Assassin's Creed 3, you could argue that too. You could argue that too. They've gotten very complacent since the Ezio trilogy. They've gotten very complacent. Did you see the ethos debate? Yeah, I did. That nigga need to stop debating people with Turtle Beach headsets. Ubisoft started falling off since Watch Dogs got released, and Ezio's trilogy is still solid. Yeah, no, I bring that up in a video. I'm working on a video. Well, I already recorded it, but yeah, I bring that up. Like, I liked the Ezio trilogy, but you can pinpoint that's the downfall of Ubisoft. Greed. Far Cry was so ass. You're literally fighting the good guy the whole time. The story feels like a giant waste of time. So hopefully they get it together. Of course, these are not new issues for the team. 7 developers working on the project said that they've been pushing for a delay for some time, and the situation has even been heard at other studios in the company. Ultimately, though, the delay comes down to strict development timelines and the need to address issues caused by the set timeline. You can't rush art, man. You cannot rush art. That's what ends up having something. Like, you got to put it out in a timely manner. But if something needs an extra 3 months to polish, in my opinion, take that 3 months. Why do you need to put it out now? It's not like you're delaying the game for 2 years. It's not a complete overhaul. Take that extra 3 months to make sure the bells and whistles is good. As for why Ubisoft's HE continues to ignore the developers for almost every level, Ubisoft Executives Committee and Board of Directors will decide in their review. Although 80% of 40 Ubisoft developers think the end is no change or layoffs, but that's another story for internal issues another time. For now, though, Ubisoft Quebec will release Assassin's Creed Shadows on February 14, 2025, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, I need Ubisoft to get it together so they can give me one more Splinter. That's what I'm saying. That'll be the big tragedy. We never gonna get a goddamn Splinter Cell if this company goes under. I know the industry is currently oversaturated with remakes, but do you think a good remake of an AC1 could fix Ubisoft's reputation? Nah, because remember, they're supposed to be doing a remake of The Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Where that shit at? They don't need to be making no more games. No more remakes. They need to make a new game. Also, if they were going to remake a game, I'd rather them remake Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed 1 is not that good. That shit's like a 6 out of 10. And I felt that way when the game came out. I think Assassin's Creed 1, like, it succeeded off the idea. Like, the idea of Assassin's Creed and the whole Brotherhood and this whole, like, secret war going on. They crafted a very interesting world. I feel the same about Assassin's Creed 1, the same way I kind of feel about Technomancer, where like it's a 6 out of 10. They crafted this very interesting world, but the actual gameplay wasn't that great. The best part about Assassin's Creed 1 was probably the parkour, but the combat was terrible. The mission structure was very repetitive, a bunch of shit all over the screen too, collectibles and stuff like that. Assassin's Creed became Assassin's Creed when the second game came out, but 1 is just great because it crafted an interesting world, but I don't think it was really that good of a game. I think they should remake 2 if they were gonna do it, but I prefer them not to do it at all. Yeah, it was just a blueprint. Yo, shout out to E-Man with the 5 gifted subs. Appreciate it. Altair walked so Ezio could run. Facts. Yeah, once AC1 asked me to collect 100 feathers, I logged off. You know, the crazy part is, I was the dumbass that collected the 100 feathers. That shit led to nothing. That shit was Donkey Kong 64. It was a collectathon that led to nothing, bro. So just spoiler, it leads to nothing. You didn't miss out on anything. Not gonna lie, when AC1 first dropped, I was hyped. Yeah, the trailer was fucking fire. It's just the game was just okay. It was just kind of okay. AC1 being the blueprint for the rest of the franchise is why it's deserving of a remake, but at the same time, it was good for its time. True. Donkey Kong 64 hella disrespectful. Hey, I like Donkey Kong 64, but like we also got to be real about that game. That game was a collectathon. You had to collect yellow bananas, blue bananas, blue coins, yellow coins, red triangles. and none of it meant anything in the game. Just wasting your damn time. We did the Star Wars Outlaws shit. We got more Ubisoft slander. It's on his deathbed. We covered this like a couple weeks ago. Apparently, XDefiant was struggling to hold 20,000 people. Most people agree this game fucking sucks. Matter of fact, I seen somebody in the comment section of my last video that I uploaded about XDefiant where I was talking about the 20,000 player count and how it's falling. Somebody said he was, I think it's a top comment, and I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of like, he knew he was done with the game because he played XDefiant 3 nights in a row. And on every night he ran into the same exact hackers, like the usernames, like he recognized them. But remember, when I talked about it, oh, niggas told me get good. You know what you're talking about? You just fucking suck at the game. The bullets are supposed to bend around the wall. Niggas are supposed to be outside the map. One day I will be recognized as the gaming prophet, bruh. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has confirmed that XDefiant has fallen behind expectations amid company struggles. And I can't stress enough, when I say stuff, when I talk about games, even though I crack jokes, it's always coming from a place of love. Like, I'm being critical because I want to do things better. I'm not making videos because I want things to fail. I think there's a lot of that shit out there. Because even though I do rag on these companies, I always provide solutions because I do want people to do better. What up, homeless? This week, the news that XDefiant is struggling with somewhat under the radar following what is arguably one of Ubisoft's most challenging periods in recent memory. First, it was announced that Assassin's Creed Shadows is to be delayed until early 2025, followed by several announcements of the company as a whole, including Ubisoft launching an investigation. As part of the major announcement, Ubisoft held a trading call update during which Guillemot answered questions about why the company had reduced its second quarter revenue expectations by 30%. Nicholas Legant of BNP asked, so Q2 guidance is only Star Wars Outlaws? Is there something else underperforming in the portfolio? CEO replied, it mostly reflects the softer than expected, I love this corporate talk, softer than expected sales of Star Wars Outlaws. We also had behind expectations for XDefiant, which we will give you a bit more detail at the end of October, he continued. To a much lesser extent, with a limited impact, was a lower expectation for XDefiant. New videos you've been dropping are dope. I appreciate it. Hey, go share that video, chat. Go share that video. That shit is bombing right now. Although I think it's a fire fucking video. I think the production is amazing, but that shit is bombing. Hit the share button on that shit. Hit the like button on that shit. I also know it's good because it only has 6,000 views and it already has almost 1,000 likes. Like, that ratio is really good. The issue with this video is I can't get people to click. But if you read all the comments, like, yo, this shit is fucking fire. I can't get people to click. You gotta trust in the long term it's gonna go crazy. Yeah, I'm banking on the fact that one of my videos blows up and then people go into my catalog. I already updated my channel. I changed my bio to gaming's best storyteller. And then like it's literally just storytelling videos and then the podcast. Like I just need more data basically. I need more data. We gonna get to it. But let's get back to this Ubisoft shit. Maybe throw an Astrobot in the title or the thumbnail. I might have to try that. Yo, shout out to Seller with the sub. Appreciate it. Let me see where we're going. Oh, but yeah, XDefiant. The biggest problem with XDefiant that I pointed out, not just like the hackers and the poor hit registration, the content. The content was abysmal for this game. Listen, CEOs, let me tell y'all something, man. If you make your game, niggas is broke. Especially you PS4 niggas, bro. PS4 niggas, we are going into year 5 of the PS5. PS5 Pro is about to come out. They don't want to buy PlayStation 5s. You think they want to buy your shitty skins? The skins, and I'm not even trying to be funny, the skins in XDefiant are hands down the worst skins I've ever seen in a free-to-play game. I have never wanted to not buy a battle pass in my life. So you have to understand, when you make your game free, you better make sure the paid content that's optional is good, because friendly reminder, it's optional. If there's nothing I want to buy, but the game is decent, I'm just going to hop on with the boys and play the game until we're tired of this shit. I don't need a bacon skin to play. So you better make something cool. Otherwise, charge for the game, access for the game. But that's where they fucked up. They made it free to play with no anti-cheat and shitty content. You said worse than Concord? I never looked at Concord skins. I just played the gameplay. The gameplay was okay. Rogue Company had better skins. I don't know, man. They had a Dr. Disrespect skin. I don't know. They had Diddler skins. I don't know. Stop. Gilmar's comments are in stark difference from the company's first quarter sales report, where he reported that the game was off to an encouraging start as we continue to grow the audience at a steady pace and plan a quarterly roadmap of content that will allow us to firmly establish the game over time. Yeah, you had a great start. They had 10 million people playing the game the first week. Do you know why? Because it was free. These people have ice bags on their PlayStation 4. Of course they're going to get excited about something free. And then when they're tired of that toy, they're going to move on to the next toy. The first disappointment. Which, by the way, how's that game doing? The game that everybody swore I needed to play. Last month, Insider Gamer reported the XDefiant was at risk of losing its much-needed post-launch support. It had to be turned around by season 3, as the game was struggling to see 20,000 concurrent players and an uptick in player spending. Which, by the way, this is why crossplay is great, because even though there's only 20,000 people playing, it still should be fairly easy to find a game depending on what game mode you're playing. It prolongs the life of games. But I think they need to get that number to like 100,000 at least. Just got to notice subs from October are $7.99. Seems like yesterday Twitch was matching subs. They scheming. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on. Yep. Whoever's in charge of the artwork on the XDefiant team, they need to be fired. There's just nothing cool about the game. Also, another problem with this game that I stand on is, how do you launch a Ubisoft first-person shooter with factions from various Ubisoft games and there's no Assassins or Templar class? Nobody played Far Cry 6, okay? I don't want to say nobody, but that... Come on. Come on. Why is Far Cry 6 characters in there before Assassin's Creed? It deserves the slander. There's a Far Cry 6? Exactly. I can't tell if you're joking or not. Yes, there's a Far Cry 6. You can say nobody. I played Mid Cry 6. That shit was mid as fuck. They had a Far Cry 6 class in there. You had a Splinter Cell class in there, which, to be fair, Splinter Cell makes sense. It's a shooting game. It's stealth, but they're shooting in it, so it made sense. But we haven't had a new Splinter Cell in 15 years. Why is there no Assassin's Creed is your biggest selling franchise? That's the reason they delayed that shit. Assassin's Creed is the one game that needs to go. And when I say go, like sell well. So you didn't put your strongest IP in your new IP that could use the visibility? That's why I'm like, yo, are y'all okay? We got to start this consulting company. If this game, I swear to God, if XDefiant, they didn't even have to put the Assassins in there. They should have, but they didn't have to. If XDefiant launched with an Ezio Auditore skin, you guys would have made some money. Put the Ezio Auditore skin at the end of the battle pass, you would have made some money. It's like you guys are allergic to money or something. I don't know what it is. Damn, I forgot about XDefiant. Let's get that Rayman class. Shit, I'm with it. That Rayman class. This game still has servers running. Y'all gotta stop. Yes. It's not dead. Not yet, but it's that's not nice. That's not nice. It's not dead yet, but you know. What Thanos say, I am inevitable. Speaking of industry, oh shit. Some more Ubisoft slander. Ubisoft CEO also said, making solid games isn't enough when you have gamers expecting extraordinary experiences. Ubisoft CEO says after Star Wars Outlaws fails. Let's read the full context. Speaking on the investor conference call today, the same one we've been talking about, I got a bunch of different articles on it. The CEO reckoned that good just isn't good enough. What? People want to pay $70 for a working product that's actually fun? So once again, I'm going to defend developers. I'm not saying they don't make mistakes, but do you like how are you this stupid, bro? How are you this stupid, bro? Oh my God, it's the suits. In today's challenging market, with gamers expecting extraordinary experiences, delivering solid quality is no longer enough, the CEO said. We must strive for excellence in all aspects of our work. First of all, you guys haven't even been putting out solid games. You've been putting out mid games. This will enable the biggest entry in Assassin's Creed franchise to fully deliver on its ambitions, notably by fulfilling the promise of our dual protagonist adventure with Naoe and Yasuke bringing two different gameplay styles. This shit has to land because for the longest people have been, you know what? Yo, I really am the gaming Nostradamus, Negrodamus. I've been saying, who's been following the content for the longest? Yo, shout out to DJ Carr with the sub, appreciate it. The CEO said 1 + 1 = 2 facts. I've been saying for like the last 10 years, if you've been following me, we will not get Assassin's Creed Japan until Ubisoft is in trouble. Specifically, I said when the Assassin's Creed franchise was in trouble. I'm still kind of right. Although it's not, the Assassin's Creed franchise is in trouble because Ubisoft as a whole is in trouble. They're about to lose all their money. So once again, I've been right. They are, this is the worst we've ever seen them. And we're finally getting the game we've been asking for 10 fucking years. And I'm telling you right now, if that game doesn't stick its landing, I think people might be done with Ubisoft for real. So them delaying it, my thing is like, you better make sure you stick that landing after the delay. You better make sure. Where are we going? This stance, which warrants the immediate counterpoint that perhaps this might only not be enough for AAA projects that guzzle money like Humvee guzzles. Gas follows positive, but not rap. You're just saying words, nigga. The fuck? Every game doesn't need to be $100 million too, man. Every game does not need to be. This is the biggest problem too. Not only have you been putting out mid, but your overhead is too high. When every game you make costs $100 million, you got to make $100 million back before you even make $1. Start making smaller games. We need more It Takes Two. And less Assassin's Creed. Make smaller, more experimental games. So if it does fail, it's a lowercase L. But the problem is they've been taking major L after major L after major L. Yeah, more of the lost crown. And then if you make those smaller games, you'll have a bigger marketing budget so you can promote it. That's Sony's current issue. Sony's putting up $200+ million for live service games for it to flop. Yep. And there's a good portion of the community that's tired of live service games. I think they're the devil. More Phoenix Rising. Yeah, they didn't promote. Phoenix Rising was great and they didn't promote it. Is it really going to sell now though? Ghosts of Yaute will overtake, and don't forget GTA 6. Well, what is GTA 6 and Ghosts of Yaute have to do with anything? If they're releasing at different times, like if those two games released the same day, Assassin's Creed Shadows and Ghost of Yaute, yeah, I think Ghost would outperform it. But if Assassin's Creed is releasing in February, the top of the year, so as long as they market it right and it gets good reviews, it can still sell well. It's positioned in the correct place. It's all about positioning. I don't think there's a correlation. I don't think there's anybody out there sitting like, I'm not gonna play this. I don't want to say anybody, but most people aren't sitting there. I'm just gonna wait for the Ghost of Yaute. Like if the game gets good reviews, it'll be okay. You need smaller games in between the big games. Yep. Yeah, Yaute doesn't even have a release date. Yeah, that shit don't have a release date. Did Immortal Phoenix not sell well? I thought it did decent. I don't know. Let me see. Can we look it up? That shit went straight to Game Pass. Immortals. Oops. Let me go back. They most definitely getting a Super Bowl commercial. Immortals Phoenix. Is that how you spell it? Yote only said 2025. Did I spell it right? It might not be on here. Search web. Yo, I spelled it wrong. Whoops. Yeah, there's no sales figures. There's no sale figures. Let's ask Perplexity. How many copies? See if we can find anything online of Immortals Phoenix Rising have been sold to date. Damn, that shit was on PS4. Really good game. PS4 niggas. There's something for you. There's no exact sales figures. Yeah, there's nothing online. But that's random Steam numbers. That doesn't matter. So far, the 3 major games dropping in February are AC Shadows, Avowed, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, I think Shadow's only real competition is Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't think Avowed is on Game Pass, so its numbers are going to be skewed. It doesn't really so like it has a fighting chance. Monster Hunter Wild is going to be more popular, I think, but AC Shadows has a punching chance, I think, as you like to say. But is Perplexity better than Grok? It's connected to the internet, so it does deep searches for it's good for information. Speaking of game development though, in more positive news, if you want to be a game developer, don't act like I didn't put y'all onto this news. Any indie developers in the chat, or thinking about going into that field one day, starting a company with your friends, here's another option. Epic Games lowers royalty fees for games released simultaneously on the Epic Games Store. Epic Games will drop its royalty fees from 5% to 3.5% for developers that release eligible Unreal Engine games on Epic Games Store at the same time as other mobile, console, or PC platforms. Called Launch Everywhere with Epic, the initiative, which goes live on January 1st, 2025, will apply for all platforms and stores where you offer your games, including consoles. Epic clarified that the royalty rate will revert to 5% if you offer your Unreal Engine game on another PC or Android store and do not offer it on Epic Games Store for the corresponding platform. So basically you would make more money on the Epic Game Store if you uploaded there and Steam at the same time. But if you upload to Steam first and then Epic later, it would turn into the 5%, which I mean, I don't see any reason not to release them at the same time so you can get that 3.5. So if you're into making money, don't act like it starts January 1st and you're making a game. At least I put you on. Not gonna lie, getting the free games for just having Epic is nice. They be putting you on. This also says to me that this is good, because like don't be that person is like, oh, who gives a fuck, Epic Game Store. This is good because Epic is trying to compete. They are trying to lure developers over to release their games first over there, which is gonna hopefully make Steam improve. We need competition, so I commend it. Monster Hunter Wilds is looking to bring in a lot of new players. Yeah, I'm gonna be one of them. I'm upgrading my PC for that shit. But yeah, competition is good. So I'm putting y'all on to that. And then Lords of the Fallen 2 is coming 2026. New details revealed. Lords of the Fallen 2's highly anticipated sequel to the game released in 2023 is set to arrive in 2026. The team at Hexworks aims to create a sequel incorporating more commercial elements, particularly in visual design, to attract a broader audience of players. According to the latest strategy report from CI Games, the game's publisher Lords of the Fallen 2 is being developed using Unreal Engine 5 with an official reveal planned for 2025 alongside a strong marketing campaign. However, it is important to note that these timelines are internal goals and may change as development process continues. So there you go. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really like the last one. I didn't like that 2-world mechanic. That shit was annoying to me. And I also thought it was really janky, especially off of playing Elden Ring. Like I was like, no, I think I played Lies of P and then this. It was like, I know Siggy really liked it, so I know some of y'all out there like it. So I thought I'd at least put y'all on. What components are you upgrading for your PC? I'm not upgrading my PC. I'm gonna build a whole new one. If I don't, I'm supposed to been had a free PC from my PC sponsor, but politics. So if I don't get that, I'm just gonna build a whole new one. My shit's old. I need to build a whole new PC because it'll bot. I throw it in the closet.